Welcome to the 2023 energy forecast. I am so grateful to be here with you today sharing this message. And I am so grateful for all of you who have registered, for your ability to join me live, for all of the energy that you're able to contribute today, and for all of you who are watching this recording. Before we begin, I just want to acknowledge that I'm on the traditional, ancestral, unceded territory of the coastal Salish people here in Vancouver, BC. So that's the Musqueam, Squamish, and the Tsleil-Waututh ancestors. So thank you so much, and in gratitude for my ability to be here in this beautiful space, sharing this message with all of you. So for those of you who may not know me, my name is Anne-Marie McKenzie. I am a soulful business strategist, a certified numerologist, and a heart-centered leader, among many other things. And I look forward to sharing a bit of my heart with your heart today, so you can get to know me just a little bit better and the work it is that I do. Primarily, I empower heart-centered entrepreneurs from all over the world to bridge the intelligence of their heart with soulful strategies to create more joy, freedom, and abundance in their life and in their business. I tend to really gravitate towards the creators, the healers, the light workers, the coaches, the people who are here to make a big difference and an impact in this world. Please trust that if you're on the call today or you're watching the recording, this is you. You are a healer. You are here to make a difference to the collective consciousness, and you are doing so one little baby step at a time. And just being here today is one of those things. It is not a coincidence that many of the people that I work with tend to have a lot of ones in their birthday. This represents ideators, innovators, creators, the people who can always solve problems. Sometimes it means that you have too many ideas and it shows up as a problem. And that tends to be because you're an A-type or you're a recovering A-type like myself. So you've lived your life mostly in the masculine because that's what we have been trained to do. And one day, maybe today is the day, you said enough. And you've swung the pendulum. And now you're hanging out in the feminine, but you lack a little bit of the masculine because there's some trauma there, maybe. There's some resentment, there's some anger there still that is asking to be healed. So the people that I connect with, we work at bringing balance to these masculine and feminine energies. And I support you with soulful strategies and beautiful, loving, nurturing structures for your feminine flow. It is also not a coincidence. I tend to gravitate towards people who are looking for deeper, more meaningful relationships. So if that sounds like you have come to the right place. And if it doesn't sound like you're still in the right place, because this message, this broadcast, this channel today is for all of you, because the 2023 energy forecast that I'm sharing is what we will all be feeling in the collective consciousness this upcoming year. So first, I just want to also talk about the intention of this energy forecast. So I know that many of you, this might be your first time connecting with an energy forecast, and you may not have any idea what you've actually signed up for. And so I'd like to tell you what the intention is, but behind our time together, which will be, I'd like to keep it about an hour. It's possible it can go a little bit longer. Again, this is being recorded, so if you do have to hop off, feel free to do so. The recording will be sent to you probably within 24 hours. And I have also created a beautiful ebook for you with all of this information. Now, I want to be totally transparent and truthful. My intention was to have it complete for today, and it's not. And I gave myself permission for that to be okay. All of the months for 2023 are completed. 90% of the information of 2023 and the overarching theme for the year is completed. And I've prepared that for you today, along with calling in my spiritual support team for any other divine messages that might come through. And I realized that perhaps the reason why I didn't complete this ebook is because something's going to come through me today for you that will need to be included in that. So we're just going to allow that to be. And I ask that you trust that that information will come to you within the next couple of days, and you will love it. I want to empower you with wisdom and knowledge of what's going to come through for us in 2023. So that way, when you're setting your intentions, when you're releasing things, when you're letting them go, you know that you're in alignment with what God, Goddess, all that is, Source, the universe wants for us. And that is so, so powerful. I'd also like to support you in your contributions to the collective consciousness. Again, I know that you are here to make a big impact in this lifetime. And I'm going to help you do that today. I also want to give you soulful strategies for ease and momentum. We've had a rough couple of years in many ways. A lot of changes have happened. Some we have chosen, some we have not. We've already received a lot of cosmic bitch slaps that we didn't want. And I want you to know that you're going to be okay. And I want you to feel armed with some beautiful, soulful strategies and tools that'll help you ride out these waves of ebbs and flows that we call life. For the soulful entrepreneurs here, I also want to support you in developing your own content and your offerings. So having this information allows you to understand what everybody is going to be going through. We all have those mentors. We all have those influencers, the people that we follow. I know that many of you send me direct messages and let me know when my forecasts have spoken to you. And that's because I'm speaking to what is happening to everybody in the collective consciousness, right? Those emails come in and you're like, was she reading my journal that I just wrote in last night? Was she in my meditation, or he? And that's because this information is available and accessible to all of us through astrology and numerology. What I'll be sharing with you today comes from the lens of numerology. If I added in what I know about astrology, we'd be here for 8 hours. So we're going to be talking about numerology today. And for those of you who may be new to numerology, what I study is Pythagoras, which most of us are all familiar with him because we hung out with him in math class in high school. Pythagoras is one of my favorites because he moved from Greece to Egypt when he was 18. And I just love Egypt. I've lived in Egypt. I might have held a position of power in Egypt in a past life. And he really honed in on some of the ancient esoteric teachings of Egypt, and he decided to create his own school. And Pythagoras was the first dude to say, you know what, ladies, you're allowed to come to my school. That was kind of a no-no back then. And so within this school, Pythagoras and these students and other teachers, women included, developed numerology, which is mathematical, scientific proof that there are predictive patterns in the universe. And when we know and understand these predictive patterns, like I said before, we can ride these waves. We can look at the natural ebbs and flows and tap into these rhythms that exist for us. So I say this all the time in all of my courses, in all of my one-to-one sessions. This is about figuring out how to turn your boat downstream. Many of us are in a boat and we're paddling upstream. Some of us aren't even in the right boat. I came from Ontario, Canada. We are canoers. Then I moved to Western Canada. You're stand-up paddleboarders. I love stand-up paddleboarding, but I belong in a canoe. So you have to make sure that you're in the boat that's right for you. Point that boat downstream and eventually get to a place in your life where you have so much fierce faith and trust that you can let go of those paddles because you know that the universe is supporting you and has your back, and your intuition is strong, and you trust in yourself and your abilities. Having this information allows us to do that. What's really cool is when they discovered all of this, this was about 3,000 years ago. This is what we've been told. It's possible that this information, that these ancient modalities, this insight, these wisdoms have been around for 10,000 years. If you're interested, I highly recommend watching Ancient Apocalypse in Netflix. And that will open your eyes, maybe, to the possibility that some of the history that we have been told isn't necessarily accurate. Our people for thousands and thousands of years, regardless, have used this information to grow crops, right? To understand where to migrate to. Animals use it. When Pythagoras in this school discovered this, he realized that if this information was given to the wrong people, that it could be abused. And so to hide it from others like politicians, religion, they took the information and they hid it in a deck of cards. When I heard this, I was floored. I was obsessed with cards as a child. If nobody wanted to play with me, I was playing solitaire. If there was 4 people, I wanted to play euchre. If it was just me and my mom, crazy eights, right? War. All of the games. And then when I realized that numerology was hidden in a deck of cards, I was like, oh, that is why this information comes so easily to me. I have been a student of numerology in past lives. I am a magician with numbers. I used to hold a self-limiting belief that I wasn't good with numbers because once I hit grade 11, grade 12 math, my grades tanked. I did not understand how we could apply this to everyday life. And I told myself I wasn't good with numbers, and that couldn't be farther from the truth. Because from kindergarten up until grade 10, I always went to enrichment for math. And there's different ways that we can relate to numbers. We have relationships with numbers. We have an energetic code. Everything has an energy. Everything has a frequency. And we can build relationships with that. And so today I'll be inviting you to build a relationship specifically with the number 7, which is the universal energy year for 2023. Good. Other people have watched it. It's called Ancient Apocalypse on Netflix. And I love hearing that other people are totally addicted to cards. In numerology, there are big energies that we experience, and then they get more specific and more detailed. We have the year energy, we have month energy, we have day energy. So year energy is going to be really big energy compared to month energy. When we have month energy and year energy being the same, which is going to be September in 2023, that's an amplification month. That's a massive amount of energy. And any 7 energy days in the month of September are going to be amplify and be so expansive with all of this information that I'm sharing with you. We also have our own personal energetic code that involves a ruling number. Some call it a life path number or soul path number. These numbers run from 2 to 11. Pythagoras didn't believe that number 1 was assigned to any of us as individuals because it represents oneness. God got us all that is. So we work with the numbers 2 to 11. We have a personal day number. So there's who we are intrinsically, and then there's who we are as we express ourselves to the world. There's also our name equates to a number, and there's numbers within our name energy. So our personal energy is going to interact and relate to other numbers differently. So yes, this is something that we're all going to be experiencing in the collective consciousness. If you're a ruling number 7, this is going to be a big year for you. I'm also a 7 of clubs, which is the spiritual teacher. I had a breakdown to a breakthrough when I heard this information, because I've known this in my heart. since I was a teenager, and I denied it. I denied that I was a psychic, that I was clairvoyant, clairsentient, claircognizant, that I had clairaudient skills, because I didn't want to come across as a wackadoo. I didn't have anybody that I could relate to. And I'm human, and I wanted to be loved and liked. And so I hid my light. I am not doing that anymore. It's one of the reasons why I'm here sharing this message with you today. And it's why I know that next year is going to be a big year for me as well, because of that 7 of club energy. Can you tell I love this stuff? I can go on and on about it all day. I want to do a quick little recap about 2022, because some of the 2022 energy is going to come through for us in 2023, specifically in the beginning. So 2022, we're in a 6 energy year, and the 6 energy is about being a creative channel of love. I like describing it as, actually, it was my mentor that gifted this to me. Megan Alton described 6 energy as cozying up to a warm blanket, around a fire with a cup of tea to smooth the rough edges of change. It's about cultivating a home, designing a home, reorganizing a home, decluttering your home, physically and metaphysically as well, and metaphorically. So internally as well, cleansing and clearing and organizing these spaces. And once we've built our home, the question is, who are we inviting into that space? And so we worked a lot with our soul family in 2022. And for some of us, that meant letting go of people that are no longer in alignment with our values. It also meant that some people maybe let us go, that we weren't ready for. And it hurt. We experienced some pain and some suffering. I want to remind all of you that this is creating space for your true soul family to come through. And that will happen for you in 2023 and beyond. People come into our life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And us with big heart energy, on big heart energy days like today, a 5 energy day, we want people in our lives forever, especially the good ones. But we don't get to control that. It's about bringing awareness that not everybody is meant for us to be here for a lifetime, that sometimes it's for a reason, a quick lesson, and sometimes it's a season because we've got a little bit more work to do with that person in order to really allow that lesson to sink in. So we started hopefully connecting with our soul family, and that will spill into 2023. I'm glad this is resonating. 2023, what's in store for us? I love having this information because it's like having a crystal ball. There's all those movies of our childhood, right? Where, what was it? Big with Tom Hanks, right? Where like you went to that fortune teller at the fair and it like spit something out and things happen. I've always wanted that. And I feel like with this wisdom and with this knowledge, it's kind of like having a crystal ball. So the crystal ball is telling us that next year is a year of rebirth for spirituality. This month in particular, illusions are crumbling. It's a 9 energy month. It's about releasing, ending, completing, death, letting go, reflection, pausing, celebrating. It's like graduation day, right? It's like, oh, I did it. Like, respect the work that you've done. Look at everything that happened that has got you to this place. And you are exactly where it is that you are meant to be right here, right now. Trust in that. And there's a rebirth of spirituality that is happening because of that, because these illusions are crumbling and they're going to continue to crumble in 2023. We are going to be revealed the truth. 2023 is a remembering of your soul, a remembering of the essence of who it is that you truly are, the purpose, the reason, your dharma, why your soul incarnated on earth right here, right now. You chose this before you were even birthed. You chose this. And I want you to remember this. You chose Earth School. When things get crunchy next year, when it feels like you're paddling upstream, I chose this. If you're in conflict with another person, we made a sacred contract before I entered this life and this vibration to learn something and to grow. This is an opportunity. Spiritual support team, source, God, Goddess, all that is. What is the lesson I am meant to learn? Thank you for showing me the path forward. The invitation is sustainable reconnections to higher vibrational states and anchoring into these portals and frequencies. So yes, that means more meditation and more prayer. Having fierce faith, trusting in your intuition, in your abilities, and in your gifts. 2023 is about taking inspired action to share your light and your wisdom and your truths. And to remember that knowledge isn't power unless it's shared. All of you on this call today are hoarders of wisdom. As the light workers, as the healers, you are a hoarder of wisdom. You are not meant to hoard this wisdom. You are meant to share it with the world. Stop trying to make it so perfect. Don't compare yourself to others. It's not about competing with other people. I have a huge numerology community now, and I hope all of them do an energy forecast for the year. And the reason I say that is because I love how all of us have the exact same message, but it's packaged very differently with the essence of who it is that we are. I want that. And I love hearing all my other numerology friends' forecasts. I love watching them shine bright. This isn't about competition. 2023 is about more collaboration as we're in the age of Aquarius. I want you to get to know the number 7 a little bit. So in October, when it was a 7 energy month, yes, this is when I did the majority of the prep work for this forecast because it was a 7 energy month and I really looked at 7 energy days. And that's when I carved out the time to receive this information because I was sitting in that energy of 7. And I was doing some research and it blew my freaking mind what I found out about 7. And what was super cool for me as a 7 of clubs, it was an opportunity for me to learn more about myself and understand, why am I the spiritual teacher? Why is the number 7 such a spiritual freaking badass? 7 shows up in so many ways in our world. I couldn't remember them all. I've written them down. 7 in religion. It shows up like over 500 times in the Bible. And I think in Revelations, it's like 54 times the number 7 is named. And when you think about it, you'll remember too, 7 days of creation, 7 virtues, 7 deadly sins, 7 heavens, 7 underworlds, 7 seals. It goes on and on and on. In the body, we have 7 base chakras. We have 7 holes in our head. We have 7 layers of skin. The umbilical cord falls off, you guessed it, on the 7th day. We have 7 vertebrae, 7 in our world. There's the 7 seas, the 7 continents, the 7 colors of the rainbow, the 7 notes in a musical scale. Our earth vibrates at an electromagnetic frequency of 7.83 hertz. That's increasing, and that's a scientific fact, but technically it's around 7, and it's been dipping up a lot and bringing us into those higher vibrational states, those higher frequencies. And that's what I meant when I said we're meant to like create sustainable reconnections with these higher frequencies that come through in portals and vortexes for us, because that's helping us contribute to the collective consciousness and raise the entire vibration of the planet. But for now, it's 7 hertz. There's 7 planetary cycles. For any of you who have done a personal energy forecast with me, which is your birth date and your trip around the sun, you know that we go through 7 planetary cycles, and each of those cycles is 52 days, 52 weeks in a year, 52 cards in a deck, right? Like, these are not coincidences. What's most interesting is 7 is not divisible with pi, but all the other numbers are. 1 to 9 are. So this means that, and pi represents like the circle of life, the essence of life. So 7 sits outside of the divine power of what we call life. It's such a spiritual badass. And that's why it represents spiritual awakenings. So let's talk a little bit about the high vibration and the low vibration. But before I do that, just pop in the chat for me and let me know, is this landing for you? Is this resonating? What's coming through for you already? Mind blowing, the 7 influence, right? I know, I can't stop talking about it. Good. You're very welcome. This is cool. So much to take in. Yes, remember that you get the recording of this, and I will include all of this information in the ebook that I'm sending. You're loving the information. Okay, good. And can you see, for the entrepreneurs out there, and for those of you who work with people in your career, how this is so helpful, how this is so beneficial? Because again, like, we can't control what's going to happen for us. You know, we can't plan like, well, this year through my spiritual awakening, I'm going to get pregnant, and then that way I can leave my job and then never come back. We don't get to do that. I tried that before. The universe, God laughed at me. Anne-Marie, you're recovering A-type you think you can control everything. You're such a jokester. And it did not happen, right? But we can prepare for it. And we can share these messages with our community. We can share this wisdom. We can share this light to remind other people that they're not alone, that we're all going through this. Yes, I'm a 7, and 7 has always been my lucky number. It is. It's a very lucky number. Leap of faith. Yes. Love the wisdom you so beautifully share. Oh, thank you, my love. Absolutely super helpful. Epic info. Good, good, good. Just about to plan my next biz year, and this will be a great foundation. Oh, yes, yes, yes. The ebook is going to support you. For those of you who have monthly circles, or you've been thinking about having monthly circles, I want you to take this information and use it. Use it. Look at the information that's coming through. For the heart-centered leaders on the call, everything that I share with you about the upcoming year and each of the month's energy, you will easily see, I have a heart-centered activity or practice or prayer or meditation from the curriculum that would pair perfectly this month. And I've also made suggestions for my own heart-centered rituals and activities. And all of this, you are welcome to use. There is enough. I'm a ruling number 3. I'm abundant. I have so much to share. And I want all of that for you too. So please use that in mapping out your year to build a handcrafted life and business that you love. That was my intention for it. If you need some additional structure to really anchor into this and map this out, I highly recommend the Soulful Planner. If you haven't purchased it yet, it's only $44. I did an epic 2-hour training yesterday on how to maximize that tool. So it's structure for your creativity to incorporate all of this beautiful wisdom and insight for that soulful strategy for the upcoming year. Number 3, that's why I'm magnetized to you. Yeah, we're activators, right? Hopefully I'm activating all of you in this call today and your wheels are spinning. I know they are. I'm not even going to say hopefully. I already know that they are. You're empowered. The ideas are turning and it's going to be an epic year for you. Okay. So the high vibration of the 7 and the low vibration, if there's any numerologists on the call, pop your ideas of the high vibration and low vibrations of 7 into the chat. I would love to hear from you as well. Everything is an energy. Everything is a frequency. There is a high vibration and a low vibration. These are not good or bad, negative or positive. They are not meant to be judged or critiqued. The energy just is. We're going to talk a little bit about the low vibration and the high vibration, because when we're in the low vibration, obviously, we don't really want to hang out there for too long. We want to go into the shadows. We want to learn the lessons. We want to feel those feelings that are yet to be healed so we can feel them to heal them. But ultimately, we're interested in raising our vibration. So again, it isn't good or bad, not positive or negative. It just is. So the 7 energy is an inner knowing versus doubting. Yes. And keep sharing what you know about 7. Got the planner, but missed yesterday. So hoping there's a replay. Absolutely. The replay is up and in Kajabi already for yesterday. The low vibration, how about I start there? The low vibration of the 7 is self-doubt, is lack of clarity, is procrastination or feeling stuck, not making decisions to move forward, hiding and hoarding. Again, please share if there's anything else that you feel the low vibration of the 7 energy is. Because it's such a spiritual badass number, a low vibration is a disconnect to our soul's purpose and to the divine, to creator. So whenever you feel this in 2023, become aware. Step 1 in the path to transformation. Accept it. Accept it. One of my clients I was working with last week, for her, it's guilt. She's not ready to say out loud what that guilt is yet, and that's okay. She said, I want to get rid of it. I don't want to feel like this anymore. I don't want to project these feelings to my children and create energetic blocks in our relationship. What can I do, Annie? And I told her to love it. Love my guilt? Pretty sure her response was, what the fuck do you mean? I don't understand. What do you mean love my guilt? I don't want to feel guilty. Why am I loving it? I don't want it. It is a part of us. It is a part of who we are. It's a part of our shadow. And our shadow is meant to be loved. One of my mentors, Danielle Laporte, she talks about her shadow as Joan Jett. And I love her for it, right? It's a badass. She's wearing like, a leather jacket. Nobody fucks with her, right? My shadow is Lydia from Beetlejuice. Lydia shows up. Lydia's impatient. Lydia's competitive. The Aries comes out in me. The Lydia is, I have wit and I have a sense of humor, but sometimes I can use it like, when I'm hurt to hurt other people. It doesn't happen that often anymore, but it happens. And I just love her. I just love Lydia. When I need to love her, maybe I make my hair bigger that day. I used to have her bangs too. Oh, I loved it. Maybe I'll wear something black and white striped. Maybe I'll watch something spooky. It's about loving it. The 7 energy can be very selfish as well. Yes, thank you, Cami. It can sit in lack or scarcity, be pessimistic. Yes, 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 thank you. Why do I go here so often, the low vibration? Because there's lessons there for you to learn. There's opportunities for growth. I need a badass Joan Jett outfit for a photo shoot. Yes, yes, yes. The 7 and the low vibration, you're right, can be proving, tries to, is striving instead of thriving. The 7 in the low vibration seeks validation outside of ourselves. And we are human. It's when I created the Soulful Planner, I sent it to my friend Sandy, who's on the call. She offered to edit it for me. And I'm human. I said, what do you think? It's sexy as fuck, isn't it? It's pretty cool. I wanted feedback. I'm human. But deep down, I knew that it was beautiful because it was birthed from my heart. It's a replica of my energetic code through Canva, through a PDF in a Kajabi portal. We can lack faith. In our low vibration and a 7 energy, we can forget to trust in our abilities and trust in our gifts. Somebody posted in the chat, Jeannie, I got into a fight with Joan Jett in the early 80s. That is freaking awesome. And I want to hear more about it another time. So the high vibration of the 7, yes, let's go there, is the opposite of all the low vibration. It's having fierce faith. It's having a strong intuition, believing in our path forward, having confidence. It's a willingness to share the wisdom and to share our light rather than hoarding it, because knowledge isn't power unless it's shared. The 7 energy can be masculine energy. It is very action oriented. It likes being in momentum. It likes being, in that forward motion. So there could be this big call to do, go, go, go on that high vibration. And if you step into that without the awareness, then that can kick you into the low vibration of procrastination, stuck. I don't like using the term lazy, but doing nothing and feeling guilty for it. Anything else that any of the numerologists would like to share about the high vibration of the 7 energy? Spiritual awakenings. Let's unpack that a little bit. So if this is a rebirth of spirituality, if this is an opportunity for us to evolve, to raise our own personal vibration and contribute to the collective consciousness, it's inevitable that we are going to go through some more spiritual awakenings. What do they look like? Often, many people label them as a breakdown. And I want you to remember that breakdowns lead to breakthroughs. Breakdowns lead to breakthroughs. So whenever you feel like you're in the muck of things, whenever you feel like you're dragging parachutes through the mud, whenever you feel like you're back in a boat and it's the wrong boat and you're paddling upstream, I want you to remember that this is happening for you. not to you, for you. And this is providing you with an opportunity for growth. Yes, it can be messy as fuck. It can be crunchy, it can be painful. Typically involves loss, losing something. I want you to remember that, again, we cannot plan spiritual awakenings. We can prepare for them, though. We can't plan to have a dark night of the soul, but we can prepare for it. And I'm going to support you in doing so. This equation guides my life. Events, which we have no control over, plus reactions, which we do have control over, determine our outcomes. How we react and how we respond to things that are outside of our control will determine whether the outcome is positive or negative. And again, that's not to judge it. Maybe a better way to state it. You will either complete the lesson or repeat the lesson. You will continue hanging out in that karmic cycle and pattern, or you will end it. And it's okay if it shows up again. Do not be judgmental or critical of this. I have caught myself doing this. As somebody who has 2 9s in her birthday, I can be so judgmental and critical and hard on myself. And when it goes unchecked, it spills over into people that I love. I expect perfectionism of myself and of others. It's not helpful, nor is it loving or compassionate or kind. So when these lessons come through for you again, and your initial response or reaction is like, are you kidding me? I've already been through hours and hours of therapy about this. I have went to the workshops. I have done the spiritual ceremonies. I have hung out with the shamans. I have smelt the essential oils. I have put the crystals in my bra. I have journaled about it. I have hung out on full moons around campfires, singing songs, holding hands. I have done the work. Why is this showing up again? I've dealt with this. I know many of you can relate. Pause. Consider, what is this message? What is coming through for me? One of my beautiful friends, soul sisters and healers, through her work with equine therapy and horses, Carson, she's on the call, I believe today. Still, she reminded me in one of my sessions, because this happened. I've already dealt with this. So what? My parents screwed me up. I'm over it. It angered me. I was like, this isn't what I wanted to work on. And she asked, what was your intention behind this? And I said, I wanted to heal whatever needed to be healed in my heart so I could show up in bigger and grander ways, anchored into the essence of who it is that I truly am, to empower and support others, to shine their light. And she said, that's what's happened for you. But you're viewing it as a sword that is still stuck in your back. Girl, you already took the sword out. You're right. You've already laid it down. This is a little sliver that's left. It's just a sliver. So pause. Consider your reaction and how you're going to respond to this. That could potentially change your outcome to be different than your previous experience. Some of my spiritual awakenings, this is in the chat, came after I chose to dive deeper into feelings I would usually try to avoid. Face the feel and feels. Absolutely. Absolutely. You are not a victim of your life. You are the creator. There are different levels of consciousness, right? There's the to me consciousness. This is very victim consciousness. There's the by me consciousness. We're like, I'm just going to do something about this. I'm going to do something. I'm going to try and control it. Oh, us recovering A types like that, stepping into old patterns. I'm going to do something about this. Then there's the through me consciousness. Oh, this is momentum and ease and in the right boat, down the stream, let go of the paddles. And then there's the as me consciousness, where we finally get ourselves to a point where we have so much fierce faith, trust in our abilities and our gifts and the wisdom that we share. Our intuition is strong. And we know that we are not necessarily working with a spiritual support team or co-creating or co-collaborating with God, universe, source, all that is. We are the divine. We are an extension of creator, of divine. Seven soulful strategies to align with the seven energy for 2023. Number one, have fierce faith. This is about leap of faith energy, like just trusting, you can't see the net, but trusting and knowing that it's there, having fierce faith that it's there. So you're going to jump and it's going to be okay. It's going to be more than okay. It's going to be freaking epic. It's going to be magical. Fierce faith for me comes with working with a spiritual support team. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later in this call. So have fierce faith. Strengthen your intuition. Number two, how do you do that? In 2015, I started this business. This is my, I think, 7th business, actually. I started this business as a desire map facilitator. In 2014, I had lost my mother to cancer, and I was fortunate to be with her as she passed. When that moment happened, I could feel the essence of who it is that she truly is was still in that room and in that space with me and in the weeks to come. And I was divinely guided. I created a ceremony around her body with my family after. I didn't know where any of it came from. I just followed my heart and followed my intuition. When I was going through all of that, about a year prior, I had read the book, The Desire Map by bestselling author Danielle Laporte. And the question was, how do I want to feel? And I started to get clear and anchor into emotional intentionality, realizing that everything that I was seeking outside of myself was attached to a feeling. And now I know that the electromagnetic field of our heart is 5,000 times stronger than that of the mind. This is the heart and the soul, and it is meant to be behind the wheel. It is meant to be in the driver's seat. Ego is the one that's meant to be in the back. And I talked about this a lot yesterday in the Soulful Planner. So what is in our heart? This is the intelligence of our heart, our greatest, most powerful resource. When we know how it is that we want to feel, and we take it a step further, and this is what we do as heart-centered leaders, we have shifted the desire map into heart-centered leadership. And I was fortunate to be a part of that bridge team that brought in this new curriculum. We take it a layer deeper and we ask ourselves, what values do we want to embody? This becomes the compass for our heart. This is how we strengthen our intuition. When events happen, does this feel how I want to feel? Does this represent the values I want to embody? Yes or no? That simple. When it's not that simple and you're like, I don't know, then it's an invitation. It's an invitation. It's a spiritual assignment, an opportunity for growth. And so we step into that event, in that situation, and we react and we respond from the compass of our heart. If you don't know what the compass of your heart is, you can pull something from this energy forecast. Perhaps it's fierce faith. Fierce faith is actually a compass of my heart in my life. And so, how can I react to this situation? How can I respond with fierce faith? When all else fails, react with love and kindness and compassion. And if you can't do that, don't react or respond. Practice the pause. So, strengthen this intuition. Our heart compass, I am, you are, we are. In the Soulful Planner, and also in the ebook you'll receive from this energy forecast, there'll be soulful inquiry questions that will guide you through this. How do you want to feel? But we want to encompass everybody, because again, we're in the age of Aquarius. We've worked in 2022 to cultivate our soul family, and we're going to start creating our spiritual support teams because we want to be with our earth soul family as well. And so it's I am, you are, because I want you, my family, my friends, my community, my clients, partners, and the world to feel this way as well. Question in the chat, is there anything special that happens on January 8th? I saw it on the email, and that's also my birthday. That's a really good question. We have the January 1st is a portal, the first month and the first day. To calculate, this is a good question. So to calculate and know that it's a 7 energy year, it's all the numbers from 2023 added up, so 7. To calculate the day energy, it's the month, the day, and the year. So we're going to take 7 from 2023, January 8th. So that's 8, January, 7 plus 1, 8 plus 8 is 16. It's a 7 energy day. Yes, it's a portal. It's a 7 energy portal. There is something special on that day. So these soulful strategies, they can be done anytime, but they're going to amplify when we do them on 7 energy days. So anchor in, strengthen your intuition. 3, cultivate more trust. We have a beautiful exercise in the heart-centered curriculum called This Is What I Trust. And it is as simple as it sounds. We make it extremely special and spiritual by adding in meditations and prayers, conscious conversation. But it's literally having a connection with what it is that you do trust. When we are not trusting of other people, it erodes all of our trust. But there are other things in our life that we still trust. So if you were to ask yourself this question right now, what do you trust? What would you answer? And I would love to hear in the chat, what do you trust right now? Knowing this cultivates more trust. What do you trust? Pop it in the chat. Cycles of nature. Sally, yes, you're also speaking to Shelly, who's on the call. She believes in the cycles of nature as well. Goddess has my back. This is what I trust. What do you trust? Divine intuition. Yes, I'm divinely guided. Yes, you are. All of us are. It's a matter of paying attention and listening. That I'm where I'm meant to be. Yes, yes, you are, David. I trust that when I'm quiet, I hear the truths of the universe. It's in those spaces in between, that's where we get this divine guidance and intuition, isn't it? Cycles of nature and being in stillness. Yes, that all is well. It really is. Cultivating more trust Also means hanging out with more trustworthy people. You're not going to have a lot of trust if you're spending a lot of your time with people that are not in integrity, that aren't authentic or truthful or honest. And so I invite you to come back to number 2, which is strengthening your intuition and getting clear on how it is you want to feel, how you want other people to feel, the world to feel, and the values that you want to embody. Because this will support you in understanding who it is that you can trust. And you don't always have to completely cut people off. That used to be my way. Sucks. Got called some names. Try not to do that anymore. It's hurtful. We can make space. We can set boundaries. Yes. We can get clear on what it is that we desire. And we can build the courage to speak that truth and to ask for what it is that we want. Number 3 was cultivate more trust. 4, take inspired action. And I don't mean productive procrastination. This is what 7 energy does sometimes. It productively procrastinates. Now, I want to unpack this just briefly because as a life path ruling number 3, an activator, a creator, an ideator, I productively procrastinate. But I realize now that this is part of my creative process. So if I was going to start a new creative project and I just sit down, I'm like, okay, make the Soulful Planner, it's not going to happen. But when I'm cleansing and clearing my energetic space through meditation, through essential oils, through literally physically cleaning, moving furniture around, that's when I get my divine downloads and heart sparks. When I'm going for walks in the woods, when I'm hanging out in Mother Nature, bare feet on the earth, body on rocks or in water. That's when that's where the inspired action births, because that's where the idea comes through. So when you feel called, for example, to look at your Soulful Planner, connect with your to-do list for the day, and then your heart says, or your spiritual support team whispers, call your friend and go to the river and go swimming instead. That type of productive procrastination, it's okay. But you know what type of productive procrastination I'm talking about. When you're doing it to ignore the inspired action that you are wanting and meaning to take. So for example, putting off having that hard conversation with somebody. And that difficult conversation is creating stress and worry and doubt. And therefore it's negatively impacting you because you're not doing it. That's what I'm talking about, productively procrastinating. And I speak to this again because I know that I attract a lot of recovering A-types, and we are so good at doing. So busy, just so busy. But is it intentional? Specifically, is it rooted in an emotional intention, which is way more powerful because it's coming from that heart space? So number 5, and I did this on purpose by design, is balance the masculine and feminine. You're going to take inspired action, but I don't want you to spend the entire year in inspired action. You will burn out. It will cause overwhelm. This is what conscious business immersion is all about. One of the programs that I offer, understanding your energetic code, the essence of who it is that you truly are, how your personal energy works, how you operate. What does your feminine energy and cycle look like? What do your masculine energies and cycles look like. And the Soulful Planner will support you in tracking that as well. And how do you create balance? What does balance look like for you? Balance is a tough word for me to use. How do you create harmony? Balance to me feels like a farce because my balance is going to be different than yours. Again, I'm an Aries. I'm a ruling number 3 activator. I'm a 7 of clubs. Then I've got, the number 11 personal day. I'm going to spend more time in the masculine. That's who I am, how I am wired. That is my energetic code. I can tap into my spiritual support team with a couple breaths. Not everybody is going to operate the same way as you or I. So understand your own personal cycles and figure out what harmony between masculine and feminine looks like for you. A really amazing soulful strategy. Number 6, speak your truth, share your wisdom, shine your light. Speak your truth, share your wisdom, shine your light. Again, illusions are crumbling. We are seeing a lot of truth speak. I am not somebody that follows the news, but I catch headlines and I just freaking laugh. I laugh at the agenda that those that want to stay in power and control try to have us believe. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. And I'm just like, God got us all that is. Please show people the truth. Please show them what's true in their heart. Please give them the courage to speak up when it feels out of alignment. Now's the time, my friends. Now is the time. Let me give you a brief little example. So there's a culture that lives in the woods and they want to hunt and catch wild boar, wild pigs, which are very violent, but they need them as a food source. So what they do is they put a wall up in the middle of the woods and that one fence, and then they leave it for quite some time. And the wild boars, the wild pigs, they adjust to it. At first, they're very skeptical. They don't go anywhere near it. It takes them weeks, but then all of a sudden they adjust to it. Then the people come back and they build another fence. So now there's 2. You can see where I'm going with this. Eventually, the wild boars adjust and they start hanging out and they trust it. Then they put a 3rd wall. And before you know it, the wild boars are now trapped in a pen that they've been led to all along. In a lot of ways, that is what's happening to us. And sometimes it's so clever. The darkness always has to announce what it's doing. It will be in plain sight for you to see. Your mission is to hold your light and speak the truth for you. We are seeing this with, and I hesitated to share this. I'm going to share this. There's a lot of people that have accessed an app that gives them a digital, very creative piece of art of what they would look like in different times of history. Danielle Laporte and I have texted and talked about this. This app company has made billions already, billions. And everyone that's hopping on board is like, oh, this is so fun. I just wanted to try it. And you know what? It is fun. It is kind of cool. Okay. It's going to create some body image issues. It's going to contribute to that. But I understand the fun and the playfulness of it. What I see on the other side, though, is the metaverse, is those that want us to live in a virtual reality, to own nothing and be happy. I see this as one fence being built and they'll walk away, and we'll get accustomed to it, and we'll start to trust it and believe it. But you will feel, you will see, you will hear, you will speak the truth because you are the truth. You are the truth. And again, we can do so in loving and kind ways. We can accept and hold space for other people's perspectives that may not have the same perspective as ours. And we can have empathy and we can understand where it is that they come from. It doesn't have to be a conflict. It doesn't have to be a fight. And you will know when it's worth your energy to say it and to speak it, or when it's not. And if you're unsure, you're all about to go into another spiritual assignment over the holiday season when you hang out with your family. You'll get dialed into practicing the pause. You'll meditate. You'll get grounded. You're like, I got this. And you're going to show up and somebody in your family is going to trigger you. It's inevitable. There are greatest spiritual assignments. I'm going to poke the bear, bait you, get you to step into old patterns of conflama, which is conflict and drama. How are you going to react and respond? Listen to your intuition, right? Is it worth it? You're allowed to set energetic boundaries. You're allowed to say and speak physical boundaries. You're allowed to not participate. Or you can choose to have the conscious conversation and see if it's worth it. Which leads to number 7, say no so you can say yes. If you're craving conscious conversations and seeing things from multiple perspectives and considering different points of view, but it's never been your family, then don't expect it to be your family. Say no to that within your family and create space for your soul earth family to come through and have those conscious conversations with people that will love you, that will support you, that will empower you, that will listen to you, that will see you, that will feel you, and that will resonate with your truth, whether it's their truth or not. Say no so you can say yes. One of the biggest things I'm going to do this year is get really clear on what I want to stop doing. And this is always a part of my process. I've infused it into the Soulful Planner for the year, for the month, and every single day. Reflections before action. What's working, what's not working, what needs revision, what didn't feel in alignment. What am I going to let go of and release? My partner brings home chips all the time. They're my Achilles heel. They're always here. If they're here, I'm going to eat them. And so it can be something as simple as like, girl, scale back on those chips. It can be bigger stuff. Stop answering client calls outside of my office hours. Stop second guessing myself. Stop worrying about things I have no control over. What are you going to stop doing? What are you going to say no to so you can say yes to more? This makes space for your future. What we say no to is just as important as what we say yes to. In fact, I would argue that it's even more important, that word no. We weren't naturally taught boundaries growing up. In the 10 years that I've been facilitating this work, and probably now thousands of people that I have worked with in terms of heart intelligence and understanding their emotional intentions, I would say like more than 90% of people, when I ask them, what was it like talking about feelings in your family growing up? They're like, no. We were taught to stuff them. We were taught that boys who showed their emotions were weak. We were told to put your big girl pants on. And through that, we were not taught boundaries. Terry Cole has a beautiful boundary boot camp. Yeah, this came through. I'm going to share it. Yeah. My spiritual support team, tell them. They're like, how do I figure out boundaries? Terry Cole. I haven't done it myself, but I have had friends that have done it and they love it. I have met Terry in person. She's beautiful. Definitely follow her. Yes, no is a complete sentence. So a quick recap of the 7 soulful strategies. So 1, have fierce faith. 2, strengthen your intuition. 3, cultivate more trust. 4, take inspired action. 5, create harmony between the masculine and feminine. 6, speak your truth. 7, say no to say yes. To calibrate to this energy, stepping into these soulful strategies, there are a few things that you can do that's going to amplify your efforts. So we don't need to work so hard because that's way better. Essential oils. I use essential oils. I'm an advocate of essential oils. I no longer really sell essential oils because I got a lot of other things going on. Personally, I use doTERRA. I don't mind Young Living either. All I ask is that if you use essential oils, that they are pure, they are potent. It is not an industry that is regulated, so it's super shady. There's a lot of stuff in essential oils that doesn't need to be in there that makes it not pure. So a lot of the brick and mortar stuff isn't really that good. If you're going to use essential oils that are not from one of those companies, and I get it, some people don't like multi-level marketing companies. I totally understand that. Just again, make sure you understand and know where the oils are being sourced and how it's being extracted. I just received 2 giant bottles of rose oil from Egypt. And it is like, I can tell, like the vibes are so high. The vibes are so high. It is pure, it is potent, it is lovely. And so is the person who gifted it to me. It just absolutely made my day and reminded me that I am abundant. The essential oils, for those of you who may not know, when you do work in like the emotional realm, I want you to think of essential oils like this. Like they're not going to do the work for you, just like crystals don't. Like just because I have selenite with me doesn't mean that I'm automatically a spiritual person. But if I'm holding this while I'm meditating and while I'm doing prayer, it's amplifying it. So this is what the essential oils are going to do for you. It's just going to amplify your efforts. So when we look at like our garden of life and we're looking at the things that we no longer want, like the weeds, and we go to pull the weeds, done incorrectly, we're not pulling out the roots, which is the cause. And therefore the weeds grow back. So what do? We water the soil and we loosen it. So when we pull that weed out, the roots come out and then we don't have to deal with that thing again. So that's what the essential oils do for us when we're working in the emotional realm. It just like loosens the soil. So the emotion that we want to bring to the light and heal, we can pull out the roots of it and really examine it and look at it. And sometimes we might go, shit, that was a plant. Like that's a herb. That's going to cultivate something. I want to replant that. And that's okay. Then you can totally replant it, but you'll have everything. And maybe you'll look around and go, you know what would be a better spot for this in the garden of my life is over here because it loves these other plants as well. So the oil for 2023, the number one oil I'm going to work with is the oil of cypress. It is earthy, it is grounding, it is the oil of motion and flow and supports us to cultivate more trust. So totally in alignment with developing more fierce faith through these spiritual awakenings. I love creating mantras or alignment statements or aligning thoughts. The one that I've created for 2023, and I encourage you to come up with your own essential oils to work with or your own aligning thoughts to work with, your own mantras, your own affirmations. This is the one that feels right for me. I am, you are, we are a spiritual badass. I align with the compass of my heart and take inspired action from this place. I have fierce faith in my intuition and the wisdom that I share. So be it, and so it is. Whenever you feel out of alignment, I want you to remember this quick little story that you are in Earth School. I talked about this at the beginning. You chose Earth School. You chose to be here. Everyone in the universe, everything in the galaxy looks up to our souls on earth because it is the densest and the lowest vibration and the lowest frequency in all of the galaxy. So everything that we do here has a positive ripple effect to the entire universe. So you are special. When you forget, you are special because you are here in Earth School doing the work. And when you get tired, well, you can maybe skip a couple lifetimes and then pause and then come back to do some more work. I am, you are, we are a spiritual badass. I align with the compass of my heart and take inspired action from this place. I have fierce faith in my intuition and the wisdom I share. So be it, and so it is. And again, this will all be in the ebook. The soul inquiry questions for 2023. And you can choose to write these down. Again, remember, you'll get the recording, you'll get the replay, and these are in the ebook. How do I want to feel in 2023? And how do I want my friends, family, community, clients to feel? What values do I want to embody? How will I take inspired action to contribute to the collective consciousness? What decisions have I been hesitant to make? You get to decide. Just going to pause and remind you, you get to decide. Suffering is a choice. It's a big pill to swallow, but suffering is a choice. When you sit in indecision, oftentimes you're prolonging your own pain and suffering. So you get to decide, what decisions have I been hesitant to make? Bring awareness into it, accept it, take responsibility, move forward and change. How has this hesitancy caused stress and worry in my life? What action or inaction can I take to gain clarity on a problem or idea? What action or inaction can I take to gain clarity on a problem or idea? My girlfriend and I have a new saying, nothing is the new something. She might come visit me for the holidays. She said, what are you doing for the holidays? I said, nothing. She goes, cool. I go, what have you been up to? She said, nothing. I'm like, isn't nothing great? Not true. I haven't been doing nothing. Been soulful planning and workshopping and sharing these messages, but I'm looking forward to nothing. Nothing is the new something. She said, well, I was thinking of coming to visit you. I said, you can, but we're going to do nothing. She's like, cool. But, is there like a little theater near your house? Like maybe nothing could be like, going to watch a movie or something. I'm like, yeah, we could probably do something like that. What about crafts? Maybe we could do something artsy? Yes. But the thing is, we're not planning anything. I said, if you come, there's no plan. The only thing I'm going to plan is the food that we're going to eat, because I'm still a control freak in terms of what I eat and having food. But nothing is the new something. So that's why I said, what inaction can you take, right? Do you need to, is it going to sit by the river for hours in silence? Is it laying on your floor, listening to music? Is it going to have a nap? Maybe it's nothing. How can I trust more deeply? I love nothing. It's my new thing too. Yeah, shells. So good. Such an amazing space to be in. And it will support us in bringing harmony to the masculine and feminine, right? And last but not least, how can I strengthen my intuition? What else can I do to strengthen my intuition? As promised, I wanted to talk to you about the heart-centered activity. And we're almost done. Thank you for staying a little bit longer. I knew it wouldn't be an hour. I should have known. The heart-centered activity that I encourage you to build, to attempt, to create, to trust, to practice in 2023 is developing a spiritual support team. We're doing this in the conscious business immersion right now. And it's so cool. Sometimes we build these teams and my clients will show up and I'm like, so who's on your team? They're like, I don't know. Some guy. This is the name that came through for me. And I'm like, all right, cool. I think it was Marty. Was it Marty or something like that? I'm like, can you pop it in the chat if you want? Yeah. And we're like, all right, cool. Who's that? We're like, I don't know. Like, all right, well, Ricky. Sorry. I don't know where I got Marty, right? It's like, oh, it's Ricky. Okay. Ricky's on your spiritual support team. What's Ricky all about? So they could be these randoms, and we're going to trust and have fierce faith that our intuition will tell us if they are a positive influence on our spiritual support team. We get to decide. Again, 7 energy. You can choose who you want on your spiritual support team and connect with. So on a regular basis, it's so funny. I had a Sandy and Taryn were a part of this. We had a fall equinox witchy gathering. And one of my friends that came, I forgot she was a medium. And she said, hey, later tonight, can I do like a group reading? And we were like, yeah, like this isn't even a question. It's a hell yes. And I laughed at the beginning and I said, ladies, you have to show up and ask her to bring in a spirit, or my spiritual support team is going to be like, ba, 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 ba. And what came through was like, first one, somebody from a spiritual support team. I'm like sitting there quiet. I'm like, maybe it's somebody else. Maybe it's somebody else. I'm like, it's great grandma. The next one comes through. It's like, maybe it's somebody else. She's like, is this resonating with anybody? I'm like sitting quiet. I'm like, maybe it's somebody else. I'm like, it's my grandpa. And then she's like, there's this big group of people over here that keep talking. And like, I just need a moment to get through. And then I had to look at everybody. I said, guys, that's my spiritual support team. They're all just going to keep showing up and talking. I built a big team. You got to ask her, and you have to bring in your own spirits for this connection. It's amazing. It's awesome. So I keep things like this photo. That's me when I was a little chubby 1-year-old girl on my birthday with my mom and 2 of my great grandmas. And this reminds me about my spiritual support team. And I have asked them to play particular roles in my spiritual support team. Oh, mom's like, I'm here. I can tell. You know, love. When I forget to love myself. My mama and I had a hard time showing each other love on earth, but we don't anymore. So she brings it when I forget to love myself, and when I forget to share my gifts, and when I forget how amazing I am, she reminds me. For people who work with me, my mom is behind a lot of our creativity. So when we've got all these big ideas floating around and it's presenting as a problem or a challenge, my mom is somebody who comes in and helps us gain clarity and confidence with what that path forward looks like. She's a ruling number 9. So she can be judgmental and critical as well, and a perfectionist, but ultimately she's like this creative powerhouse. She was born in October on Halloween, actually. So yes, she is a witch. My grandma was born on the 30th. So we have that in our lineage. And all of that one creative energy supports all of us in that. So you can ask specific people who have crossed over to be a part of your spiritual support team and ask them to do specific things for you. They want you to ask for help. They are here. They're like, we've been talking to you all of 2022. Have you been listening? Have you been listening? Have you been looking at the sign? Or do you sit there and go, I kind of want to sign your sign? And they're like, oh. You didn't learn the lesson. We're going to give you another lesson. With my mom, when she passed away, back then, one of my heart compasses was sacred. When she passed, I wanted to identify what it felt like to feel her spirit leave her body and be in the room, and feel that again, but obviously not have somebody pass away. And so I identified that feeling as sacred. And I did all of these things to cultivate more sacredness in my life. So I went to the woods every day and I hugged trees and I meditated and I did yoga. I went to Hawaii. I convinced myself and my partner that I had to go there and swim with sea turtles in order to feel sacred. And I did, and it worked. I asked my mom, to give me signs. And I said, specifically, I want feathers. Show me that you're a part of my life still. Show me that you're a part of my spiritual support team. And specifically, I want you to do this by sending me feathers. That's just one batch. This is the big batch. And there's eagle feathers and owl feathers. When I don't have clarity to a problem and I need support, I reach out to her and I ask her to show me a feather when this problem is solved. And there have been really funny times where I've gone to a conference. Actually, was seeing Danielle Laporte was speaking, and she was with Gary Vee, and I was with a couple soul sisters, and they gifted us from being a part of that event, like a $25 gift card for a local restaurant. So we went out and had wine and had drinks. And on the way home, after being a little tipsy, I was like, it's my mom. She's sending me a sign. And they're like, no, girl, like a dirty seagull feather on the streets of like East Vancouver that's not from your mama. That's not it. Right. So you can have fun with it. I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure my mom's talking to me. You can have fun with it. Right. And maybe it is, but maybe mom's like, class it up a little bit, girl, or whatever. Right. And just, again, have fierce faith and have trust in that information that comes through for you. When we're working with spiritual support teams, it doesn't have to be somebody that's crossed over either. Like, we can look towards different spiritual mentors or angels, archangels, ascended masters. Again, you get to decide. When I was going through a separation in 2018, and I was really anchoring into self-love and self-compassion and self-care to a higher degree, I worked with Kuan Yin, the warrior of compassion, to really teach me how to cultivate more compassion in my own life. I often speak to Archangel Michael. Again, my clients, you know this. I'm like, anytime we have tech issues, I'm like, Mike, help a girl out. Mercury retrograde is coming. The beginning of the year is going to be Mercury retrograde. I think it starts December 29th and goes through to January 17th, right? Archangel Michael is going to support me with that because he loves helping with communications and tech. So when our things are glitchy, I'll talk to him. And you know what? Sometimes it'll completely shut down. And I take this as a message from Archangel Michael that I am meant to slow down to speed up, which I feel is a huge message for 2023 and the 7 energy about slowing down to speed up. Well, it didn't work. We can't get on the Zoom call because maybe we're meant to connect tomorrow instead. Maybe we're meant to go have a nap. Maybe we're meant to complete a project, whatever it is, and trust in that. And through all of this, your intuition will start to get amplified, and you'll begin to understand how you communicate with your spiritual support team. We all have superpowers. We have claircognizant, clairaudient, clairsentient, clairvoyance. I never remember the one for smell. I think there's 7 of them as well, 7 clairs. Right now, I'm just remembering the ones that I have. But we can build these, right? And we can ask them to speak to us that way. I love it when they speak to me in song. It's a gift that I have. Like, people can say something to me, and within that sentence, I can pick out 1 or 2 words, and then song comes through. My friend that's coming potentially for the holidays, she sees this and knows this, and she tests me all the time. Like, we'll be out walking the streets, and she'll say, oh, look at that rose on that guy's jacket. And I'm like, every rose has its thorn. And I'm not a great singer, but I don't give a shit. And I do it anyways. And I know that messages come through for me that way. When we hear a song that reminds us of somebody, it's not a coincidence. You're being reminded of that person because either that's your spiritual support team saying that they're here for you, or potentially that person that's still living is going to show up, or there's a message that this person has for you. So develop a spiritual support team. The month of January is an 8 energy month. So we're going to kick off the new year with the same energy that we just had in November. If you're not in the natural rhythms and flow, you're going to feel overwhelmed. You're going to keep biting off more than you can chew. And keep playing small. Or you can step into infinite abundance and align with your abilities to be a creative master of the essence of who it is that you truly are. This is a time of year for pausing, resting, reflecting. It will change at the solstice, December 21st, but it actually isn't the right time of year to set new intentions. Don't be fooled and duped by the rest of the world saying New Year's resolutions, January 1st. This is what I'm going to do. This is why everybody falls flat. And by January 15th or January 21st, feel like a piece of shit. They haven't followed through with it because it's not the right time. It's not in alignment with the universe. You are still being invited to rest and reflect and pause. So it doesn't mean that you don't listen to these divine heart sparks and downloads and hear these messages. It just means you are not necessarily meant to full on take action yet. On December 31st, for a few hours, I'm going to hold space for people and host a little workshop called 2022, Let That Shit Go and Celebrate. This is what we're meant to do. We're not setting intentions. We're going to look at and reflect on 2022 and look at, you know what, I don't want to bring this into 2023. We're going to do some fun things, witchy things. We're going to burn some shit. We're going to put little things in a box for our spiritual support team. We're going to meditate. And I'm hosting it in collaboration with another beautiful heart-centered leader named Kat Sanford. So if that feels called, if you feel called to do that, then carve out some space. I think we're hanging out from 11 to 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So if you still want to go out and do things and celebrate for New Year's Eve, you have lots of time to do that. So much came through. I want to thank my spiritual support team, and I want to thank anybody's spiritual support team that joined mine today for these cosmic insights and messages that came through for me to you. I would love to keep seeing you and working with you and connecting with you. There's so many ways that we can do so. I always have these free energy forecasts every single month on Instagram. We dive deeper into them in the Conscious Business Collective. So every single month, the first Wednesday of the month, myself and heart-centered entrepreneurs, soulpreneurs, creatives, healers, coaches, everybody in the service-based industry, we hang out and we have a conscious conversation, a deeper dive into the energy for that month. And we talk about how we can calibrate to that energy. And we take that information and use it to support us in creating our content and creating our offerings. So it provides clarity, provides confidence, provides connections. I freaking love everybody who signs up. Sometimes people can't make it, which is okay. They send me questions ahead of time because the last half of it, we usually incubate challenges and ideas. So we do it like popcorn style. We're hanging out in a living room together. Somebody shows up with an idea and we incubate it and we just share anything that comes through for us. These are recorded and saved. So if you can't attend, you will always get that information. And that's only $44 a month. I mentioned it before, the Soulful Planner. This pairs really well with this. Again, only $44 a month. The free forecasts are on Instagram. And there's a lot of things in between, like this 2022, Let That Shit Go and Celebrate workshop. In 2023, there'll be an Attracting Your Dream Client workshop that you can step into. I do individual numerology readings. So if you really want to get clear on your own personal energetic code, know who it is that you are, the essence of who it is that you are, your gifts, your blessings, look at your challenges, really get clear on the medicine that you bring to other people and who your soulmate client is. We can look at all of that in numerology. And something that you might feel really called to do at this time is look at your own personal 12-month energy forecast. So January is a good time of year to do that, or you can save it until your birthday. Just like I did with 2023 for the collective consciousness, we all also have our own personal energy that's showing up for us. So we have a theme, we have an invitation and inspired action to take. We have some results and some gifts and some blessings and challenges that are coming through for us. And we have specific energies that are coming through with different planetary cycles that are gifting us opportunities spiritual assignments for growth. Again, having this wisdom, gaining these insights. Yes, it's like having a crystal ball. It doesn't mean that you're going to be able to control your future, but you can plan and prepare the best that you can so you can show up as the highest, most authentic version of yourself. Before we wrap this call, I would love to hear from you one more time in the chat box. What truly resonated for you? What landed? Or what are you looking forward to in 2023? Actually, you can pop it in the chat box and you are more than welcome to unmute and share. You get to decide. Yeah. You get to decide. Oh, you can also have animals on your spiritual support team. Yes. Thank you for bringing this up. Yes, yes, yes. Babs, my bulldog, she passed away last October, but she is a part of my spiritual support team. When I've been sitting on my arse for too long, working at things, she shows up and reminds me to get outside and go for a walk, which is what I'm going to do right after this call. She reminds me to play and have fun, not take life too seriously. And when things bother me, water off a duck's back. That was Babs. She showed me how to forgive quickly. Using the Soulful Planner. Yes, Renee, I'm so glad. Yeah, I just love it. I love it, love it, love it, what I've created. And I love that other people love what I've created. And I love Shelly, who's on the call. Shelly is the reason why you all have the Soulful Planner. She was the one in Conscious Business Immersion who was like, Anne-Marie, this is great. You know what I would like as well? And then when 2023 was coming around the corner, she's like, you're going to make it. Like, how do I get access to it for 2023? And I was like, oh, right. Like, I should probably share this with like everybody. So she's the one who had the idea. And I thank you and I love you for it. Yes. Positive ripple effects. The 7 strategies really landed and resonated. Good, good, good. 2023 spiritual awakenings. I'm looking forward to more self-care to take my connection deeper and live as me consciousness in all facets of life. Oof, I love that. I love that. Slowing down to speed up, diving into spirituality. So many juicy insights. Yes. Again, I am grateful. I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for the ability to share our light, for the courage to share our wisdom and to speak our truth, for your willingness to do this work and contribute to the collective consciousness. I thank you all for being here. One more, your beautiful soul resonated with me the most. I love how you see. You're welcome, Cami. Thank you. Being and finding who I am meant to be for myself. I'm so excited to see what 2023 brings. Good. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you as well. Thank you as well. Please do stay in touch if you pop onto social media. And I highly encourage you to do so because the algorithms do not like small businesses. And I don't like giving my money to people like Mark Zuckerberg or the metaverse. But we got to play with the world that we're in. So if you do happen to show up on social media, I would love you and send you a tsunami of love if you did this. I'll do that anyways, but be sure to tag me. Please do share your experience. Let everybody know if this landed and resonated with you and what specifically, and point them in the direction of this energy forecast. So this is, again, going to be recorded and the ebook is going to be available. So all people have to do is pop their email in and then this will be sent to them so they can catch this anytime. Sending you big, big love from my heart to yours. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you. Have fierce faith, my friends.